Future stepdaughter 13th, whom I just met, told me that I was the worst thing that ever happened to her. What do I do to fix this? Hello, Redditors. I, 37, proposed to my fiancee, 30. She was adamant that I not develop a relationship with her children until we had a real plan for the future. Well, that plan was solidified after I proposed, and now I am getting to know my future stepchildren, 13th, 11 and 9. Now I should start by saying that I am infertile because of an accident that I got into while younger. Despite this, I always wanted to have kids by adoption or other means. I know this may seem weird coming from a man, but I really wanted to be a dad, and I was so happy that this might finally happen. I know I can't replace their biological dad, but maybe being an adult they can ask for help and look up to. 8 weeks ago I met her children for the first time, when we took them out for ice cream. It was really awkward at first, but 9-year was really talkative and led the conversation. Overall, I thought it went as well as it could. 9-year and 11-year have the same father, who is presumed deceased in what was a really sad story. I've been able to bond with them playing video games, and they're really excited to move into my house in a couple of months because I have an entire game room with multiple computers, and they will each get their own bedroom for once. I feel bad for buying their affection, but they seem okay with me, and there's no drama about replacing their dad as they barely remember him. Furthermore, their paternal grandparents seem to be happy with me as well, which I did not expect. The 13-year is a completely different story. Her dad is a vagabond, for lack of a better description. He occasionally comes into the city, maybe once every other month, and takes her out for a day and buys her things. For some reason, she absolutely idolizes this man despite him not paying child support and only seeing her once every other month. He even fails to show up on some visits with no explanation. I have made no mention of my thoughts about her dad to her or her mother because I feel it would be inappropriate of me to comment on this. This weekend the kids and fiancé were visiting my house so that we could set up their rooms and get everything ready for when they move in. As a bachelor for most of my adult life, I've no idea what teenage girls are like, and I was trying to ask her what I could to make her more comfortable in my home, and she completely blew up at me. She said that I was not her dad and to just leave her alone, because she would be alone and she would move in with her dad. She continued to insist that she wouldn't be living here. I know that at a certain age children can choose which parent they want to be with, but I really don't think her dad can seriously take her in full time given his living situation. Her mum caught part of this conversation and immediately pulled her into a room and had a private talk with her. But she continued to be cold with me. Based on what I heard from 13-year, her dad has been poisoning the well against me, and I feel helpless to do anything about it. I know she will never call me dad or anything, obviously, but am I stupid to want to have a good relationship with her in the future? Is 13-year too old to form some sort of familial connection at all? I am clueless about how to navigate this, and I could really use some advice. Too long, don't read. Future stepdaughter wants nothing to do with me before even getting to know me, and I really want to have a positive relationship with her. I can tell you from first-hand experience that the best thing to do is slow down. Seriously, if I was a 13-year-old girl, I would not react well to my mother telling me we were moving in with some strange man I hardly knew. You have had a relationship with the daughter for 8 weeks. That is nothing. I get where your fiancé was coming from, wanting to be sure about you before introducing you to the kids. But now you've gone from 0 to 60. Children don't have control over their lives. They rely on the adults around them. You are introducing a major change in her life, and she's no options to deal with it. It's a lot of pressure for a kid to deal with. She may feel like her mum is choosing a man over her, or that she is being disloyal to her father if she accepts. She may be angry that her siblings are okay with you. She may be afraid to leave her own home and come into yours. She may feel guilty because she is standing in the way of her mother's happiness. Really, try to understand what she is going through, and that you're putting additional pressure on her by putting the time limit on if you have to be okay with this in months, because we're moving in together. If you really sincerely want a good relationship with her, My advice to you would be to hit the brakes on moving in and take the time to get to know her slowly. Take the pressure off. If all goes well, you will be in each other's lives forever. It's worth taking the time to do right. Otherwise, the girl's resentment will never go away. And I wouldn't blame her. Try to look at things from her perspective. You say she, for some reason, idolizes her dad. Dude, she will, given time. But speaking from someone who went through this myself, what that means is needing to get over the emotional hurdle of thinking, why doesn't he want/love me? A deadbeat dad always has that sting of rejection, and I know as a kid I wasn't ready to deal with that for a long time, which meant I would defend him with all the gusto a 13-year-old girl could muster. Then comes you. You're not a new bonus parent in her eyes. If she's already feeling the sting of rejection from one parent, what she feels from you is that you are taking her mum, and now she is getting rejected from both parents. Whether this is true or not is irrelevant. I'm only asking that you see how a child will be processing this, and though I don't mean to criticize, I kind of disagree when parents only introduce the step-parent at the point of marriage. It makes you a kind of awful surprise and gives no time for adjusting to having you in their life. Just out of nowhere, hey, we're keeping him and you're losing your home because we're moving into his. Another nightmare for a 13-year-old who has big emotions that they likely feel they need to deal with on their own, especially if her younger siblings are on board. And she's not. It's probably not possible. But I would consider finding a new home as a family. Let the children be involved in the process so it feels like their home and not just them entering your space. Potentially impossible, but food for thought. All this is speculation. But my point is, be empathetic and patient. She is at a weird age, and even under the best of circumstances, 13-year-olds can be little shits. It comes with the territory. Force a relationship. Let it come as organically as possible. Ask your wife to make sure she gives her daughter and other children some personal time with just her, so they can see and understand that they're not losing her. Make yourself a bonus. You don't do anything to fix this right now other than treat her with respect and ignore hurtful things she says. This is not abnormal behavior for a teenage girl whose mother is engaged to someone she doesn't know yet.